They told me I was the steady one, the dependable one, the one who'd always be there when things got ugly. But when my sister came home for support and my mother handed me an ultimatum, take the guest room or get out, I walked. And that's when the panic started. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe. My name's Violet. I'm 28 now, but for the last 5 years, I've lived in the house my father rebuilt right before his heart gave out. One week, he and I were at the hardware store arguing over kitchen towel colors. The next, I was sitting in a folding chair at his funeral on a gray, rainy Friday, holding my mother's trembling hand while she stared blankly ahead, as if the world had just ended. That house became my anchor. It wasn't even finished when he died, but it was all we had left of him, and without thinking, I stepped into the role he had silently asked me to fill. The caretaker, the responsible one, the glue. Josie, my younger sister, breezed in for the funeral wearing oversized designer sunglasses and a silk scarf. She sobbed in a way that felt staged, hugged Mom for a moment, and by Sunday morning, she was gone again, back to her perfect Instagram life with her husband, Brent. I stayed. Someone had to. I stayed even when a promotion in Seattle dangled in front of me, with a salary bump and company housing thrown in. I stayed because the mortgage still wasn't paid off, because Mom had become a ghost of herself, and because deep down, I believed it was my duty. My father had loved my mother, even when she belittled him. "She just needs more grace," he'd say. "You girls take care of her." So I did. But being the dependable one also meant being invisible. Every time Josie called, Mom's face lit up like a Christmas tree. When she talked about me, it was always with a sigh, as if I were the family disappointment. "You should wear more color, Violet. Josie always lights up a room. You look like you're dressing for jury duty." Or worse, "Why don't you try dating again? It's not too late, even for someone like you." I'd nod, keep paying the bills, clean the gutters, cook dinner. I told myself it was temporary, that someday she'd see me, that I'd finally be enough. But then, one Thursday evening, I came home late after a chaotic day at work and stepped into a scene that felt eerily familiar. Josie was back. She sat curled on the living room couch, a balled-up tissue in her lap. Brent scrolled on his phone like he wished he were anywhere else, and Mom hovered with a tray of tea and shortbread cookies like they were honored guests visiting from overseas. "Violet," she chirped like I was the neighbor stopping by. "Guess who's here?" I stood in the doorway. "I can see that. What's going on?" Josie sniffled delicately. "Brent lost his job. The company downsized. We're behind on rent. We have nowhere to go." "And we're family," Mom added quickly, already wrapping an arm around Josie's shoulders. The unspoken message was clear. They're moving in. I blinked. "Wait, what?" "They need help, Violet. You're good at figuring things out," Mom said as if that settled it. I looked at Josie. She gave me a tiny shrug and mouthed, "Sorry." But the slight smirk on her lips told a different story. Later that night, after the tea and cookies and crocodile tears, I pulled Mom aside in the kitchen. "This house is barely big enough for 2 adults, let alone 4. Where are they going to sleep?" "In your room," she said without hesitation. I stared at her. "Excuse me?" "You can take the guest room or get out. It's up to you." It hit like a physical blow. I'd been paying the mortgage. I'd turned down my own future to keep this place afloat. And now I was being told, essentially, to get lost. "You're serious," I said quietly. I'm not discussing this. I always wanted Josie back here. She belongs in this house. I've been paying for it, I shot back. Mom's eyes went cold. It's in my name. I realized then that everything I'd sacrificed, everything I'd built, meant nothing. The next morning, Josie knocked on my door with a bright, cheery voice. Hey, Mom says if you could be out by Saturday, that'd be great. Bryn and I kinda need this space. I stared at her. Excuse me? She leaned against the doorframe, eyes gleaming. Come on, you've been living like a spinster. This will be good for you. A fresh start. I shut the door in her face. Inside, I sat on the edge of my bed, numb. On the shelf sat a manila folder I hadn't opened in months. My company's offer letter for Seattle housing. Studio apartment. Clean, safe, close to work. Move-in bonus. My hands trembled as I opened it. No screening, no guilt, no Josie. I made the call. By Friday afternoon, the transfer was filed, the key secured, and the movers scheduled. No one offered to help me pack. No one even asked why. They were too busy planning a welcome home barbecue for Josie. Saturday morning dawned hot and breezy. I stood in the driveway in jeans and a t-shirt, hair pulled back, clipboard in hand, as the moving truck rolled in. You ready for the big move? One of the movers asked, grinning. Yeah, I exhaled. Let's get started. We loaded everything, my bed, my bookshelves, my coffee maker, my desk, my dishes. Every item in that house I had bought with my own paycheck, assembled by hand on my days off. With every box, I felt lighter, stronger, free. By early afternoon, we were almost done. One of the movers paused by the door, glanced at the now empty room, and raised an eyebrow. You're really taking everything. I smiled, calm and unapologetic. Yes, everything. By the time the truck pulled away, the house I had once called home looked hollow. No TV, no coffee table, no framed prints. Just dust outlines where my furniture had been. It wasn't revenge. It was reality. When I turned in the keys to the staff housing office later that day, I almost couldn't believe it. The studio apartment was small but bright, quiet, clean. The fridge didn't hum ominously. The water pressure was perfect. I didn't have to fight over the bathroom schedule. I sat on the mattress and exhaled for what felt like the first time in months. That night, my phone buzzed relentlessly. Missed calls, voicemails, angry messages from Mom, then Josie, then Brent. I didn't listen. I turned off my phone, made tea, and sat on my tiny balcony watching the city lights flicker like distant stars. For the first time in years, I felt peace. By Monday, they showed up at my job. The front desk buzzed me. Violet, your mom's here. And your sister. I almost laughed. I hadn't even given them my address. I stayed hidden in the loading bay until they left. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of a confrontation on my turf. But curiosity gnawed at me. That evening, on my way home, I decided to swing by the old house. It was dusk when I pulled into the driveway. The porch light was on, but the living room was dark. I knocked once before letting myself in with the spare key I hadn't returned. Mom and Josie were in the kitchen, arms crossed, faces thunderous. Mom didn't waste time. What the hell did you do? What are you talking about? I asked, my voice calm. You cleaned the place out. There's nothing left. No fridge, no table, not even the toaster. That was mine. I bought it, like I bought everything else. Josie stepped forward, Her brows furrowed. You can't just take things without permission. I didn't, I replied. You assumed they were yours. That doesn't make it true. Mom snapped. We didn't think you'd take literally everything. I opened my hands. What exactly did you expect? The kitchen felt like a stage right before a curtain drop. Tense, hushed, a storm about to break. Then Josie said something that changed everything. The house feels like a shell. It's depressing. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the house I paid for not comfortable enough without my things? Josie's eyes narrowed. What about the bank account? I blinked. What? The joint account, Dad's insurance money. I checked yesterday. There's nothing left. A chill slid down my spine. Here it comes, I thought. Here comes the real reason they're here. I let out a soft breath, already seeing where this was going. That money was gone a long time ago, I said. Josie froze. No, there was a ton left, like 40,000. I saw it. That wasn't insurance money, I replied, quietly. That was my savings, what I used to cover the mortgage and utilities for the past 4 years. No way, Josie muttered. I tilted my head. Why does it matter? You're not on the deed. It's not your house. Mom's expression flickered. First surprise, then something that looked a lot like panic. Josie turned sharply to her. Is she lying? Tell me she's lying, Mom. Mom's silence spoke louder than words. And in that moment, I realized the truth. They hadn't come home for family. They'd come home for money. I stood there, watching their faces crumble. Everything was about to unravel.